What's going on, y'all? Back at it again. Welcome back to the Corpus Christi Originals podcast. Today's special. We're joined by South Texas' own Marcos Leal, and I've got guest co-host Nick Lopez, a longtime El Nino fan, longtime supporter of the show, and the co-host for this interview here with Marcos. Back. Welcome back, Marcos.
Man, thank you guys for having me, man. It's been a minute. What, it's been like 2 years since I've been here. Just about 2 years, yeah. Lots changed. A lot of cool things. A lot of sucky things have happened in that time. But man, I'm so thankful for you guys to have me back on the show, and still out here representing Corpus, man.
Yes, sir. Glad you're here. Real quick, shout out to Premier Hearing Solutions of South Texas for sponsoring us. Thanks. If you got some hearing care you need, she can help you out over there. Also, CorpusChristiOriginals.com. Check out the merch to help support the podcast. Man, dude. So yeah, a lot has been going through. I guess we'll talk about that a little later. We'll talk about what you got going on right now. Swim the current.
Yeah, man. After I left my last band, I kind of had this idea to mix country rock. Obviously, I think you guys know that I'm a big country fan. Mix, the country with my rock roots. I've always had that idea to do that, and I just kind of ran into the right people at the right time, and fortunately, they saw my vision, and man, it just. Swim the Current started as like a feature. You know what I mean? It was just something like, hey, they paid me to appear on a track with them, and it just blossomed into really great friendships. But also, there was a spark there writing music that I've just never had in my career before.
And it was like two songs you did, right? Just featuring two, three.
Yeah, well, it was one which was metal. You know what I mean? And then. I had this idea that I wanted to kind of pitch to the guys, and obviously they're all from New York, so they're not a bunch of, cowboys like I am. So, pitching to a bunch of guys from New York, like, hey, I want to do country music and mix it with this rock roots that we have. Naturally, at first, they were kind of like, the fuck? I don't know about that, man. So we did Solo, and it sparked, man. It was a Coetzel cover. Shout out my man. It was a Coetzel cover, and it did so well, and it streamed so well that we signed a record deal off of it. It was like the first time in my career that it happened so fast. Like, it was one song was a feature, then we're signing a record deal off a cover, and then we're putting out a full-on country single. So it was kind of a whirlwind, you know what I mean, how it happened like that. But man, those guys really came in at a really difficult time in my life, and kind of helped me get past it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it all flowed so well too, man. Like, especially like how you said, like they were kind of iffy about it, and they're not, of course, they're New York, not Texas or whatever.
I got them wearing some cowboy boots though.
I know, I've seen the video, but it's pretty crazy how they like just adapt to it with the guitars and everything, and then. Well, it's the drummer too, drummer filling in on everything to make it fit.
And it's crazy because, each member, George, Chris, Joe, Greg, they all have their own like background of stuff that, Chris has played with Dokken and Queensryche, and George has played with Disciples of Verity, Living Color, and, Joe has done so many, things in his career. So it's like everybody already had these things built in place. Like, for example, Joe, he already knew how to play steel guitar, not because he was trying to do country. He was into, other things with it. But what are the odds that like I found a New York guitar player that is into steel guitar and already knows how to play it?
That was the first single, right?
Yeah.
Did after Solo.
Yeah, we did Stay. And it was kind of like that song. It was like my first jump into it. And man, just so you guys kind of understand how like scary that was. It was like I've always been known as a metal guy, screaming from Shattered Sun to El Nino to jump into a whole nother genre is pretty terrifying. Pretty terrifying.
Yeah, I was gonna say what creative freedom did you have, or did you feel like you have? Because it's obviously a change in the style that you're singing.
I think. Coming from the band I was in before with Nino, there was such a reins put on the like the songwriting. It's like, we're gonna stay in this little box here because this little box is what works for us. And even in like the writing for some of their music, you know, when I would try and stray out of it, I would always kind of tell myself, or there would always be somebody there to tell me, hey, we don't do that. We stay here, right in this box. You know what I mean? So as soon as like I kind of got away from that and threw out the idea that like, man, I kind of do want to sing country and I know how to sing it, I just kind of did my own thing, man. Got with some really amazing producers and, you know, just kind of went for it.
Yeah, which track pushed you the most, like vocally?
Ooh, I would say Stay, because it was hard for me to like put it in your mind, like, hey, you're going full on country here. You know what I mean? Wow. Like, yeah, you're gonna have rock elements.
You could definitely hear it though too. I saw the little country.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I have a funny story about that. Like, so Sahaj, Ticotin, he sings for a band called Raw. They're a big new metal band, but he's this big producer. He does a lot of stuff for Breaking Benjamin and Starset. He's worked with Motley Crue, and so we signed on to record with him. And I flew over there to Indianapolis, and like the first thing that caught me off guard, and this was like the first time that ever happened in my career, was so I get into his studio and he kind of sits me down and he's like, so I'm gonna be real with you, bro. He's like, I've gone over all your music and I don't think you can sing country music.
Damn.
He was like, and before I waste my time and your money writing songs, I need to know that you can sing them. So he was like, pick a couple country songs and I'm going to put them on right here and you just sing to me. And mind you, I've been traveling all day, dude. So I was sipping, having drinks. So I was like, no, you know, we'll do this tomorrow. He was like, no, right now. He was like, so pick whatever country song you want. So I was like, shit. So I pulled up a George Strait song and I pulled up a Cole Wetzel song and I sang them right there, just in his, you know, studio, just kind of like we are right now. And he looked at me, he goes, all right, I believe you. Now we can start writing some music. So it was, to have to sell somebody like that, like right on the spot, it was like, fuck, it was really hard. You know what I mean? But, and I was really nervous too, but, you know, everything worked out. And, you know, we were able to make some really great music. I mean, we have a whole record that's about to come out. You know what I mean? So it's been awesome.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
You got something, Nick?
Do you know when that record's gonna come out? Date yet?
We don't have a date. We are looking right at January because we were trying to shoot to release it before the year was out, but just kind of in the way it works in the record industry, it's like if you put something out right here in November and December, as soon as January hits, it's old. It's last year's record.
Damn.
You know what I mean? And it's like,
wow.
Yeah, that's
so crazy.
That's the way it goes with everyone.
Oh my God, dude, damn.
So you can imagine you put all this time and soul and heart into a record, and then by January 1st, it's like, oh man, that's last year's
It's already
record.
in the trash. Damn.
Yeah. Or, you know, not so much in the trash, but it's kind of like, what's new? You got something new? Because you guys put that out last year.
I meant in the trash because those are your ideas, your musical ideas. Now they're gone. Now you have to come up with new musical ideas.
Oh yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's definitely like that, and it's like that in metal, and then like kind of transitioning to the country market. Now I see it even more, and the difference between the two is like in country, there's like, you know, you always find those bands where they have like one thing where it's like, man, the singer is epic. Like they always have the drummers amazing. You know, you have those bands in country, like, dude, the opening band is like every member of the band is great. The singer looks like a freaking model. He's been singing since he was 3 years old in the choir. So it's like the competition, like in that market is on a whole nother level. So
it's definitely out there too, man.
Oh yeah.
Because, you know, like went to go see Giovanni and
great band.
Kobe and all that.
Yeah.
And the openers too, man. Like, damn, there's some damn good openers. And
like
Hunter Brothers.
Oh yeah.
They opened up for Giovanni when we first saw them, and me and my wife, we fell in love with them.
Oh yeah,
I mean, good.
Treaty Oak Revival was opening
too,
band
man.
for Co. They used to play right here at Brewster Street, and now they're one of the biggest bands in the world, playing on Jimmy Fallon, and you know what I mean. It's like if you catch lightning in a bottle, man, you can really fly in that market.
So
but
it makes me think of like Nashville.
Oh yeah,
pretty much everybody's a musician in that town.
Oh yeah, so that's why I'm saying, like in metal, it's like you have these bands where you're like, man, the singer's great, or man, these guys are really good. That's why they stand out. in country, it's like, man, the opener is you're not even talking about the codes. You're not even talking about, you know what I mean, the Parker McCullums, the big time guys. And you're just like, man, the ladder's a lot steeper and a lot bigger. You know what I mean? But I love the challenge, man. I love being able to create like that. Not having somebody kind of hold you into, you know, one sound, one box. It's been a whirlwind for my career because of that. Yeah.
So how did the first show with Swim? How did they talk about that?
That was incredible because it was.
It looked badass.
Oh man, it was fun. We played in Bruce Springsteen's club.
No.
It's called the Stone Pony. So it's like it has its own legendary lore to it, and we got to open for Tom Holland, who plays in Aerosmith. He's got a band that's on our label too. So they kind of threw us a bone, and but the build up to it was like, you know, I'm in Texas, they're in New York. We took a whole year to write a record. You know, it's taken off. We hadn't even played in a room together, and we already have a song that's charting. So it was kind of like, holy shit, you know what I mean? So there was a lot of pressure leading up to it, but I'll say this, like, they're some of the most amazing musicians that I've ever been around. They kind of took me at a really, really like turbulent time in my life, and were like, you're our missing piece. No. So like, you know what I mean? Like, they already had something. They just needed that missing piece, and I at that moment was broken. So you know what I mean? They kind of had to champion me in it, and then once we kind of found that little niche with the country rock, it was like, oh, this is the path. Let's go down it 100%. So that first show was amazing. It was amazing, and kind of have a special announcement while we're here on this subject. We are doing our first debut show here in Corpus, January 31st, right here at the House of Rock.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's going to be the first time that, because, you know, playing that style of music in New York it's cool. Like, you know what I mean? I think they love us over there. They love the music. The guys have a following. But y'all guys know how special that music is here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? In Corpus, in South Texas, in Texas. Like, marrying those two styles is just something that I think this area can really get behind. So I'm excited to bring it home.
Yeah. So what type of listener do you think Swim the Current connects with the most?
Man, it's weird, dude, because it's like, I feel like a lot of that metal crowd or that's followed me has crossed over, and I hear a lot of like, hey man, I don't listen to country, but I like this.
Wow, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then vice versa, in the countryside, they're like, man, you guys are like really rock oriented. I don't listen to a lot of rock, but I listen to this.
Interesting,
like,
no?
So it's like a cool little like hybrid. You know what I mean? Of I feel like the country artist that wants to listen to more rock, and the rock, you know, listener that wants to listen to more country. So it's there's a cool little like niche there, and we've definitely been growing a fan base over it, dude. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, because I mean that's kind of how I am too. Like, I'm not really much of a country listener. My wife is. She loves country.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll listen to like some Kevin Fowler,
yeah,
you know, some other like radio stuff, you know, because it's usually played and you hear it. But when I got introduced to like more of the
like Coetzel, Trio,
Kobe and Giovanni and all that, I was like, damn, you know, I fuck with this.
Yeah.
So whenever you came up with it, and when y'all came out with Stay, me and my wife, we listened to it and she fell in love with it. She saw, man, that's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I love it.
The way I kind of looked at it and embraced it was like, man, if Jason Aldean or like, you know what I mean, like Coetzel or even like George Strait could sing on like a 90s rock record, that's what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's like a 90s rock band with a country style vocal, and that just got in me, and you know, it took on a whole path of where we were going and the type of music we were writing. It's crazy because we already have a record done. It's already about to come out, and here after Thanksgiving, I'm hopping on a flight to start vocals for our second record that's already. So like it's kind of like a contrast from my last band. Yeah. You know what I mean? There was so much kind of controversy in every single, and when's the record coming out? This, you know what I mean? When you take all of that crap away and you let like your team cook and you let your band members cook, I mean, yo, dude, we already have songs that are charting. We already have a record that's about to come out. I'm about to put the finishing touches on the second record already. So it's, you know what I mean? It's a whole different kind of onda there.
It's amazing, man. Well, it makes you think, like, when you first, did you know that y'all were gonna like tour when you first got into Swim the Current?
No.
It was just like a side project.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, they came to me while I was still in El Nino, and I remember telling them, like, I don't want to do another metal band because I have Shattered Sun. I was in El Nino, so like, I don't want to go do that again. You know what I mean? Like, and I want to do something that's like taking a chance, like really like, you know, step into the cliff and either we're going to fall over or this thing is going to hit. Yeah. And they just kind of saw the potential in the music we were writing and maybe a little bit of the fact that I've been singing country music in my backyard since I was a kid. So in all the back of the tour buses, you know, I was known to clear out a tour bus, just jamming Jason Aldean and George Strait. And, you know what I mean? I blast that shit every time before a show. And so that's how I would warm up my vocals. So like being able to sing it actually, it's kind of, it's something that's kind of hard to believe, but that's where my heart and soul is, man. You know, it's kind of in my roots, you know.
Texas roots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So last thing, what risks did you take with this new record that paid off?
Man, I think even the label, like, was like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if Marcus can sing. Like, that kept coming up, like, everywhere that we went. Man, I don't know if Marcus can do that.
If he can handle it.
Yeah, like, because Marcus is this, and now we're doing this. You know what I mean? Like, and it wasn't until we showed them the music, or like we performed live in front of them, or they saw the music video. It's kind of like morphing into a different, like, Marcus, you know what I mean? You know me as this, but I can also be this, you know what I mean? And I think with anything, it takes somebody having to see it. So like making some of these songs and risking, like Stay, for instance, like there's some things in that song that I would never sing ever in anything, but like because the producer is like, yeah, we got to take a chance here, you know what I mean? Like, this is what so-and-so's doing. This is like, how can you put your spin on it? And it just clicked, you know what I mean? And the listener loves it, you know what I mean? So it's I think the proof's kind of in the pudding. Like signing a record deal off of one song that came out that was a cover song, for them to be like, fuck it, let's take a chance.
Bro, that's like, big, man. Especially here in South Texas, we got so many bands out here trying to like get signed, make it and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. And just like, and that's like next level, bro. Because you're doing totally different genre. You had already started in Shattered Sun and did your time there. Yeah. And now this is like, it's totally up there, you know?
It's unprecedented. Like I didn't think it was going to work out this way. Like, and again, got to give credit to the band members, because there was a lot of times throughout that year where I was just kind of down on, the previous situation. I was, it's let me put it to you this way. Like when you spend 5 years trying to build somebody else's dream and build somebody else's like onda, you know what I mean? And trying to step into somebody else's shoes of something that was already created. Like there's a lot of pressure there, but when you can just kind of be like, fuck it, this is me. Like, you know what I mean? And if people don't like it, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like if it fails, fuck it. Like I feel like when there wasn't that pressure there, it just like everything unlocked. You know what I mean?
Kind of like going back to when you first started singing and all that stuff. Absolutely. Yeah, man. So now let's take it back a chapter that shaped your whole career, Shattered Sun, and the 10-year anniversary of Hope Within Hatred's coming up.
Yeah. This Friday we're doing Brewster Street Ice House, man. We got some amazing, kind of like to what you were speaking to a minute ago. There's some amazing talent here in this city, in this music scene. Zombie King, Tilled, there's a band from Alice that's kind of on the come up called Excess. Yeah. Fucking love this guy.
Yeah, dude, for real.
Dude, Rock was fucking wild, dude.
Yeah, I fucking love Rock, dude. Man. Yeah, and they started working with my guy who does all of my vocals, and I was kind of hearing some of these tracks before they came out, and I was like, dude, this fucking guy can sing,
yeah,
dude.
He's a whale, bro.
Yeah, and,
a whale, dog.
And I know him because he works at my HEB there now. So I was like, you know what I mean? But we kind of see each other in that light. It's like, yeah, I'm here shopping for Pampers and milk, and you're back there in the seafood section, but fucking rock this motherfucking place here, dog. Like, you know, but it's great talent. Zombie King, I feel, is like I feel like they're the next us, like that band that kind of took the step, you know, and it's crazy that they're working with our producer, Robert Beltran, who took Hope Within Hatred, and he took our band and kind of was like, fucking go get it, you know what I mean? And so a lot of talent, man, but, you know, celebrating 10 years of a record that, you know, at the time, you don't think about 10 years. You're just like, let's get the record out, let's go tour, let's whatever, I don't care. You know what I mean? Just let's keep going. So to be here 10 years later and celebrating and charted, you know, pretty high on Billboard, sold about 150,000 copies, you know what I mean? It just, for a metal band to do that from here, man, it was, man, we toured with some of the biggest bands in the world, you know what I mean? So to be here.
Festivals too.
Oh yeah, dude. We got to do, you know, our management, we got to be managed by Johnny Z, who found Metallica. You know, Chuck Billy was our manager, was, you know, Testament, one of the biggest bands, biggest singers in the world, you know, to have their guidance, you know what I mean? And then to be here 10 years later and see how much that record means to people is pretty, one of my proudest moments, you know, in my career.
We got another Alice native in the chat, Joaquin Rangel.
Joaquin!
Going to be a badass show celebrating the album.
Yeah.
November 28th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling him, man, dude, I don't know what's in the water in Alice, bro, but most of the dudes that come out of there that I've met, like, totally exceeded my expectations, bro.
I'll tell you what it is, bro. And I have a theory on this.
Tell me.
I think in Alice, when you start, and I think we talked about this on our previous podcast before, when you get to a certain age, it's like, well, either you're going to go to college or you're going to go to the oil field. Which one's it going to be? And if you have a dream that is like, that doesn't fit in that mold, you kind of go into like, oh, I got to do this now, or I'm going to be on a fucking oil rig. That's exactly the Shattered Sun story. Like, we got to a point where it was like, okay, we're going all in, because right now, guess what? He's having a baby. He just got a job offer from, you know, neighbors. They're paying $50 an hour. So-and-so wants to get married. So-and-so's having a kid. So you get to that point where you're like, well, I can't do music no more. So it's either going to be now or never. And it hit for us, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a jackpot. But I see the same thing in the guys in Excess, you know what I mean? Like they, or even in Zombie King too. Zombie King's from Robstown. You know, you get to that point where you're like, it's got to happen now, or I might not be able to do this later.
Not only that, dude, y'all's musicianship is really good too.
Oh yeah, man.
Like, dude, it's awesome. I was listening to Hope and the Hatred.
Yeah.
Man, it's amazing, dude. Your vocals are good. It's all of it, dude.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
because
everything's still fucking
all
goes
of it
hard, man.
Oh yeah, and I've been digging into it. Just, you know, over the past couple of months that we knew that this was gonna happen. Digging into the old memories, and I was laughing on the way here because I was like, man, 27-year-old Marcus was fucking crazy. Like, or even, you know, 20-year-old Joseph, you know what I mean? Or 22-year-old Jesse is like, man, we did some fucking crazy shit, dude. Like, but it's the how bad do you want it? Like, for example, we would play a big festival. We'd play at 2:00 in the afternoon. Then we'd go headline a show that night, and we'd drink all night, and then wake up the next morning at 9 a.m. to do a radio station acoustic, and, you know, do a meet and greet with fans, and do it all again the next day, riding around in a 15-passenger with no AC in the middle of summer. Like, would 38-year-old Marcus do that? Probably fucking not. Like, probably fucking not.
I need some AC in this.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yo, straight up, like, yo, we had an exhaust leak in our van. We used to call our van Terra. And like, we were laughing about this the other day at rehearsal. I was like, at some point, we're gonna get older and we're gonna go in the doctor's office, and they're gonna be like, were you guys ever like around like an industrial plant? Like, are we inhaling a lot of fumes? Like, yeah, for about 2 years of our lives, we were going at it pretty hard. But you know, man, it's awesome going back and seeing all the memories. But what's really cool is seeing the fans, like, how that record meant something for them. You know what I mean? How that record helped them through this or through that. And, you know, to still be here 10 years later, I mean, you guys know, you know, somebody put out a song last week that got 1 million views and nobody gives a fuck right now. You know what I mean? So to have a record 10 years later that still means something to people, man. That's special to me.
That's what's up, Jose Lasso and Todd in the Facebook chat. Appreciate you guys.
He was crazy. Yeah, Jose knows. Jose fucking knows. He was in that van quite a bit. Dude, we used to be wild, bro. Like, we were laughing about it earlier, and I was like, you know, we used to drink like 2 30-packs in a bottle before we even stepped on stage. Yeah. And like now, I was like, is anybody going to have a beer or two before the show? I was like, no.
I need to be able to see.
Yeah, no.
Some my guitar.
Yeah, Daniel was like, he was on, no.
Muscle memory, dog.
Yeah, I didn't see this. Like, you know what I mean? We could have a drink afterwards, celebratory, but, you know, we used to be pretty wild, man. I think about it now because the times are different. Like, some of these young bands, man, they're zoned in, man. They have rigs and they have computers and they have tracks and everything is so to like be drinking 2 30-packs in a bottle, that's a no-no nowadays. But back then, man, like we were literally like, hey, plug and play. That's how we learned. Like there was no time to, when you were opening up for these big bands, dude, there's no, hey, I gotta set my this up and that up and this up. There's like, no, dude, you got 30 minutes to wow this crowd, and guess what? It's gonna be a throw and go. Get your shit on, play, and then get the fuck off right afterwards. And if you can't win a crowd over in that time, you know what I mean? It's tough, you know what I mean? So fortunately we were able to do that quite a bit. We got pretty good at doing that.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Just fucking even go through all that, you know? Because I remember the day when y'all posted y'all got signed to Victory and all that, and you know Robert being a part of that too, you know, because Robert grew up in the neighborhood with my grandmother, and you know, just around the corner. So, I told him today, just for someone from the neighborhood to see something do some badass shit is fucking amazing.
It would have never happened without Robert.
Robert's a good fucking dude. Even whenever I was in a band around the high school days, we didn't have a place to fucking practice because my neighbor was complaining about the noise. Yeah. Couldn't go nowhere else, so we're like, let's ask Robert. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
but he had a whole building set just for. Because I remember having a drum set at the bottom. Yeah. And I was playing at the same time. I was playing in a band called Wicked Red. He was in Excrete.
Excrete.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think all of those lessons and things from those days when he was playing and he was actually, you know, trying to chase being, you know, a professional musician, like we all were, like a lot of bands, you know what I mean? I think those things helped guide us. Like he was working with a lot of bands, you know what I mean? When we first got with him, but we were the only band that was like, we'll fucking do whatever. Like we'll do what the fuck ever. Yeah, we'll play in Robstown, Benavides, then we'll come back and we'll play Corpus. Like we did not care. You know what I mean?
It's that point of like, fuck it, playing in a fucking house party, then fucking do it.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. We really sold out to the cause, and he was the one that was there that was kind of like driving it. And I think, you know, and I don't mean this in an insulting way. I think, you know, him not being able to do that in Excrete is what fueled the. No, you guys have to. No,
I feel that, bro.
You know what I mean?
I definitely hear what you're saying on that, dude.
Yeah, sure. And I don't mean that. I love Rob to death. I don't mean that in an insulting way. You know, I loved Excrete too. They used to come play in Alice.
Amazing.
Yeah, but like, because they did a bunch of things that were like pro at that level where we were all little kids. We were like, oh my god, you know, like, you know what I mean, bro? What do you mean they brought their own PA? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was no way to compete. But I think like him not being able to do those things and cross those barriers were like, whenever we would slack off, he'd be like, no, you can't, because this is where we have to push through. This is what we have to do. Like, oh, you guys can only rehearse 2 times a week. No, fuck that. You know, you got to be rehearsing every day. Like, and just through all of the things that happened, like, you know, us kind of making Hope Within Hatred and then us signing a management deal, a record label. There was so many things in there where it was like, without Rob, man, it wouldn't have worked. And we laugh about this all the time now, but it's like Rob was the type of guy that he would run our sound, and immediately after the show, we'd all be gassed up. Oh man, we did so great. He'd come up and he'd be like, there was a couple things. There's a couple things we need to talk about. And some people don't like that criticism. Ooh. You know what I mean? But I can tell you this from fucking fact. The people that do not like that criticism are the people that will not take that next step. Right. Like you have to be able to be there like, yeah, you know, you fucked up on this part. And you know, you sounded out of key here, and you know, you look gassed here. So getting in that mindset, like without Rob, we would have never signed any deals. This record would have never done the things that
so it seems like he's more pushing you guys as artists and stuff like that. Is there a point where he helped y'all like music wise?
Oh yeah, I mean, he helped with a lot of the writing in that first record. You know, we were not seasoned musicians. We were kids, you know what I mean? And you know, Hope Within Hatred was the first one. It had that lick, like he was the one who kind of was like, we can make this into something special. Wow. You know what I mean? Like he took a lot of those songs and turned them into what they are now. And without his guidance, man, we couldn't have done the things that we did. Not very many bands have their producer go out on the road with them and run sound every night. Right. That's pretty nuts, dude. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah. You got some?
No, I was gonna say shout out Rob, man. Yeah, a real one. Yeah, for sure.
And what he's doing with Zombie King, like, I see it even more so now with those guys, because like they're that same level of hungry, and then I see Rob kind of being the jet fuel behind them, and I just got so much love for those dudes, man, because I feel like they're gonna be the next band to really take off from this area.
That's cool, man. Yeah. So as far as Hope Within Hatred, when did you first realize that album was going to change everything?
Funny, with my dad. God rest his soul, man. But my dad was one of those guys that was like, I don't believe that there's money here. Like, I don't believe that this could change your life. Like, this just sounds like, you know, I've been playing music since I was 13. So what's the difference between this song and this record and this everything? It wasn't until very early on. You remember River City Rock Fest?
Yeah.
Yeah. We won a battle of the bands to play River City Rock Fest, and we played in front of maybe 15,000 people. Yeah, and I remember
Antonio, correct? Yeah.
And I think we opened for Def Leppard that day. And you know, we played it, and I remember my dad was like, "Oh, like I can see what it is now. Like, you can make money here. This could change your life." Like, so that switched my dad to like, okay, like now I believe you. So that was kind of the moment where I was like, Dad, look, like we have this album, and we were talking to these management people, and we're gonna sign this record deal. And I'll never forget this as long as I live. We were playing a show at the Aztec Theater, and my dad showed up, and there was a line from here down the end of the street for our merch, and he goes, "So everybody here is paying $20-something a shirt?" I'm like, some are paying 30, 40, 50, 60, you know, 100. You know what I mean? So that's when he was kind of like, oh shit, okay, this is some real deal shit right here. And that was kind of the moment where I was like, yeah, this is going to change everything moving forward. And you need that approval from your parents.
I remember we used to be online at Texas Sky. I don't remember what show it was, but there would be dudes walking by with T-shirts with the band name on it. And one time a friend of mine was like, "Hey, security," because he's bootlegging. Yeah.
Bootlegging, dude. Oh my god.
They're cheaper out here than the ones in the arena.
Yeah. Well, I know, yo. Oh my god, now even more so, bro. Jesus Christ.
Dude, for real, I go like, especially like some bands too, like for instance, like Motionless in White. Like I seen them, you know, when they used to play here at House of Rock, their shirts were like, you know, $20, $25. Now they've gone so much bigger. You see the shirts like, damn, 30, 35, 40.
Yeah. Oh, dude. No, and I'll tell you, a
lot of bands now, but
I'll tell you why, because you know I haven't purchased merchandise for Shattered Sun in a very long time. So over this past week, I've been kind of getting quotes from people, and so I won't say who, but a business here in the coastal Penn area was like, you know, they quoted me pretty high, and I was like, dude, broken down, I was like, yo, that's $22 a shirt. I was like, where is there room to make money? He was like, well, you know, a lot of bands sell their shirts for $50, $60. I was like, yeah, fucking Metallica. I was like, you know, we're not fucking Metallica. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, that's crazy, bro. We used to buy shirts for $4, $5, $6 a shirt, and you turn around and flip them for 20. Nowadays, it's a crazy game, man.
Yeah,
crazy,
I mean,
crazy
all the machines now that they're using and everything, it's not just a little press on; it's all inked in.
And it's funny because like when I was in El Nino, I never had to worry about any of that. Like, so being in Swim the Current and Shattered Sun, like this past week was maybe the first time in years that I ever tried to put in like a merch order for Shattered Sun, and I was like, so whoa, times have changed. I was like,
wake up call. Yes, talking about now I guess we're moving on to the El Nino portion where we obviously want to hear you talk about your side of the story or whatever you want to share. What did we say? Now we're stepping into the chapter fans have been asking about for years, and one that you've never spoken about in full. Well, we had El Nino on a couple episodes after the solo episode with yours. So you got any initial thoughts you'd like to share, or?
Man, it's such a touchy situation for me because it's like there is still animosity there and there is still anger there, but like something I've kind of learned over the past year and a half that I've been out of the band is I try not to let that anger kind of consume me anymore, because for a while it was. And again, I have to shout out both Shattered and Swim, because those guys kind of really helped me through a tough, difficult fucking time. And I think the one thing that I can say is like, there's no real brothers like other than your real brothers. You know what I mean? And throughout that experience, I kind of saw people that I had pretty, really, really close relationships with, not only in the band, but outside of the band and the business, be completely destroyed over what happened. And I think overall, when I think about it, what makes me angriest about it is that we had something special. Like there was something special there. There was an electricity within that band that I'd never felt before. You know what I mean? And to see the things that we built up, and mind you, Nick knows this, and the story's pretty, told. I was a big El Nino fan growing up, so I witnessed El Nino playing Concrete Street right behind us to playing at Zeros in front of 20 people, and then insert me to build it all back up again. And that specific interview that you're talking about, I just kind of, that night we had a sold out show. You guys were there. You know what I mean? We had some
AC and everything, bro.
God damn.
That was one of the toughest shows I ever played. But seeing that interview and the things that were said in that interview to how things played out, I think is pretty telling. But like I said, I'm kind of an open book about it now. It's just kind of a lesson learned type of deal for me. You know what I mean?
When did you first feel that your time with El Nino might be coming to an end?
I think it was there towards when album deadlines were getting missed, and I was the face of the band for 5 years. So when you tell your fan base who's rabid for a record, hey, this record's coming out July 22nd, and then July 22nd happens and there's nothing and there's no announcement, well, who do you think they're going to look to? They're not going to go to the drummer or the bass player. They're going to go to the singer. Wow. You know what I mean? And that's just what happens in the business when you put somebody to be the face of your band. You know what I mean? So after that cycle that had kind of gone on, trying to save face for everything, I think that last misstate of the record kind of just put a wedge there in between relationships, as far as, because I think I've heard it said a few times. I think Dave said this. He said Marcus wanted too much control in my band, and my rebuttal to that would be, I never wanted control in band or in El Nino. But when it comes to the music that I write, anybody wants their control in their music that they write. When you appoint somebody to write a record for your band and bring your band back from the ashes, and we were #1 on XM, and we were playing every festival, and we were going on tour with Megadeth. Like, we built that. You know what I mean? So it's like, to now it turned into like, no, this is my band. Like that didn't sit well with me. And it was a pretty tough ordeal, because I am very much one of the main songwriters in that record, and for it to be sitting on the shelf right now with probably some of the greatest songs in the band's catalog, and I know when people will hear me say that, they'll be like, kind of chill out, but I mean it. Like, that record was built to restore the band, so it was written in the vein of those first few records. So for them to be sitting on a shelf and nobody to be using them,
especially having Rizzo back on it too, man. Like, I mean, whenever I've seen them plenty of times, and then whenever y'all performed when you were with them, of course you played Sangre and Mascara, but me personally, as a big fan too, I wanted All or Nothing. I wanted This Is Over, and then the recent one, Beast Inside. Bro, I fucking love that song, and I'll never fucking be able to hear it.
And that's the shitty thing, is like, we built like something, with Mascara. Let me put it to you this way: like, a lot of bands that I've seen that have the second singer, take Queensryche for example. You know what I mean? Like, I went to see Queensryche, and I saw them play 8 new songs, and everybody was just kind of sitting down. They're waiting for the hits. You know what I mean? For us to make a song with your second singer that goes #1 on XM radio, that fans are showing up to the show and saying they want to see. Yo, man, you don't get those chances too much in your career, and it's tough, man. It's tough.
I know they're hits and everything too, man, but sometimes it's just like, I mean, people say, even with Deftones, not to put Deftones down, but like, people like, they're going to play the same songs, want to hear something different, new set list.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really like that for a lot of bands too. Some people kind of hold on to the old stuff because that's what made them, but I mean, you got to have faith in the new stuff too.
Yeah, and here's the thing too, like, with the old stuff, like, I looked up to Christian, you know what I mean? So I never shied away from being like, giving the OGs their props, dude. Like, that was never because I feel like that was kind of set up for it to be like head to head, like their band Lions at the Gates was doing this, but we're El Nino and we're doing this. Like, I never really wanted to participate in that, because I was just like, man, I'm just trying to build the second chapter for this band, you know what I mean? While honoring the OGs, you know what I mean? And I think somewhere in the mix there, that kind of got mixed up, and it's a tough deal. I have difficulty still talking about it without getting angry about it, because there was a lot of things that were really destroyed in that process that are still pretty raw to this day.
What part of the story do fans still misunderstand the most?
I think it's hard. I think it's hard whenever you do away with the original iconic singer and the members that have been there in the band, which, shout out Christian and Aru and Diego, Lions at the Gates, man, those guys are great. It's hard to take away the original singer and then replace them with new guys and have it work, especially the singer. So for that to happen, it's kind of unreal. You know what I mean? There's only a few bands that are able to make that singer change in history. So for that to all happen and there be success and selling out shows, man, I got to step on stage in front of 90,000 people in France, dude. Like, so to have that and then have it all just be like, boom, destroyed, online drama, a record that you were promised that you're never getting again, relationships with guys that have been friends for 20 years destroyed, like, and then like, hey, nothing happened. Hey, check out this new singer. Hey, we got this new song. You know what I mean? Like, I think the fans kind of are like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Fucking quick. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I woke up to the new, even though like leading up to that tour in Europe, to, you know, the things that were going on between me and Dave, even in those heated moments, I was trying to make it work. I wasn't trying to, I'm trying to have some control, and I'm trying to control of my music, and I'm trying to let people know, like, hey, the record's going to be out here. I know we've been promising it for 3 years, but it's going to be here. And you have my word on that. That's a big thing for us here in Texas. You know what I mean? I give you my word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when somebody else breaks that word, who are they going to come look at?
The person that made the deal, like in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah, no matter who it is, and like, nah, you told me.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you know, and I remember having this conversation where like my, you know, this is kind of on a small level, but like my Thea was like, hey, you know, I pre-ordered the record, and I like, well, when's it coming out?
Yeah, I ordered it too, bro. I'm like, where's it at?
Yeah, you know what I mean? And you know, it's tough. So like, even when I'm having those negotiations with you know, Dave and lawyers and all that stuff, like, it was my intention to go to Europe. It was my intention to put out that record. It was my intention to continue to go do what we built. And then, you know, I wake up one day to now Tommy Vex is in my spot, and there's this rumor going around that something's wrong with my kids. And you know, that's the thing, man.
Yeah. So how did it affect you personally? Like,
I was
behind the scenes.
Yeah, I was angry, bro. Like, you know, I not only financially what it does for your family. You know, you take away $10,000-$12,000 that you're gonna make in a month. Like, yo, you know, it crippled me. You know what I mean? Like, financially.
Wow.
But hearing people like, hey man, are your kids okay? Is everything okay with you, bro?
Yeah,
like,
I sent you a message too.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, that just like it drove the, you know, South Texas word rabia. It drove that rabia in me, dude, because I was just like, I see what y'all trying to do. Y'all trying to spin a narrative. And I stayed quiet for so long because my intention was to stay. My intention was to put out the record. My intention was to do all those things. But when I start seeing people, you know, say things about my kids and start bringing up the fact, like, oh, you know, maybe he's got alcohol problems, maybe he's got a drug problem, maybe it's like, dude, to have to hold quiet in those moments,
man,
especially you know, dealing with the kids and shit, you know, you shouldn't fucking do that at all.
Yeah, bro. And you know, when things got really nasty in public, that was, do I have regret in that? Yeah, I do. I wish it didn't have to be public, but at the same time, like, when you push somebody into a corner like that, man, and I have people from the industry calling and being like, dude, I heard you're doing this, and I heard you're doing that, and I heard your kids are sick, and I heard, you know, and then to have somebody like, you know, I'm hearing somebody like Tommy Vext, who is known for his, you know what I mean, stuff, saying things to people or like saying things publicly, in, you know, whether he, you know, knew about it or not, like, it really fucked me up, dude. You know what I mean? Like, because it was just like, I sacrificed these 5 years of my life for you and for this. So for it to be spun that, you know, I have a drinking problem, or I have a problem with my kids, or a drug problem, and then having people outside the band stir that is just kind of like, man, all of this happened because I put my foot down about my music.
Damn.
You know?
Looking back at our, did you have something?
No.
Looking back at our last interview with the band, what stands out now?
All the love that we had. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, Dave talked about, you know, me and, you know, and about what I had done for the band. So, you know, to fast forward it to be like, no, just don't even think about Marcus. Don't even think about that music, this new guy. And, you know, I'll say this too, you know, this is not a shot at the new singer, because I know it'll be construed that way.
Yeah.
And I want to start out by saying that that replacement is not a talent level replacement. And I don't mean that to pat myself on the back. That replacement is when you replace a veteran of the industry with somebody that is young, that is just like, I don't know how this works, but I'll never push you. I'll never push anything. I'll never ask anything. I'll never bring up anything that's bothering me. Like that's what is wanted there, not so much a talent acquisition. And it's a real tough deal, man. It's tough to kind of put it all into words.
Yeah. So what did this experience teach you about your value or your voice, identity?
One, there's really no substitute for like your actual family, your actual brothers. Like I watch dudes that I've been friends with forever turn their back on me like that. Mm-hmm. People in the industry that we're on here talking about hope with and hatred. I won't say names, but a former manager of mine that turned their back on me like that. You know what I mean? Wow. And like I said, the people that were there for me when all that stuff went away were the guys in Shattered Sun, were the guys in Swim the Current, was my wife, was my kids, was my brothers. You know what I mean? Like, so when you go around, you're like, oh man, familia, right? Because that's what the thing is. There ain't when it comes to this business, there ain't familia. Yeah, and that's it's unfortunate, man. It's a tough deal, but lesson learned. And the only thing I'll tell young musicians that are coming up is make agreements. Don't do things because, man, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like, so I'm just gonna go and go and go, and I'm gonna write and write and write. And let me put it to you this way: you know how much of a thorn in your side it is to you write a song, you see the song take so much success, and then you come and you see the credits and it's written, produced, and performed by, you know what I mean? And your name's not there. Mm-hmm. And it's, so I would deem it less as I wanted control in the band to more than I wanted control in my music, which I don't think is a big thing for musicians to have. So, lesson learned. Lesson learned.
What's you got something?
I was just saying, just fuck it, what's done is done, and just keep moving on. And your boy's always gonna be there, Shattered. I mean, absolutely. All y'all stay together.
And I gotta give it to Mark Rizzo too, man. Like of all those dudes, like Rizzo was the only one that stayed by my side. Rizzo was the only one that
I knew it too, because when I saw that he wasn't there, I was like, he fucking knows too.
Yeah, and he had already been through that, years before I was there. You know what I mean? And he was the only one. And man, not to get like too deep into it, but like, when you lose out like on monies that your family was counting on, like, and you're just kind of like, I was expecting this, but now like, what am I? Who am I? Where am I? You know what I mean? Like, Rizzo was the only one that was there to, help me, in every which way. Shout out Daniel Adame too. You know what I mean? Daniel Adame kind of stood in the face of that evil. And Robert Beltran, man, Robert Beltran worked with El Niño for 2 years. And, right there when I was leaving, he had the opportunity to stay on. And he was just like, no, man, y'all ain't going to do my boy like that. And then me stick around. You know what I mean? So but flip side of that, I saw dudes that were like, I'll drop him in a heartbeat as long as I get to stay. Ooh. You know what I mean?
So last thing on this, what's one truth the fans deserve to hear today?
Whew. That everything that is perceived to be is. All the things that the fans have like theories about, it's true. You know what I mean? And they deserve that record. I don't think they'll ever get it. I I don't think that it'll ever come to fruition. Because look, put it to you this way: like, why are they gonna put out a record that promotes me and my voice? You know what I mean? And I also think on the flip side of it, like, why have they not put out anything in that time? You know what I mean? It sucks because those guys are gonna have to put that same foot down that I put down at some point, and I'm definitely not gonna be the one to be there to say I told you so.
Cool, man. I guess I'm happy that we can just like not really gossip about this stuff and just kind of talk about your side of the story and stuff like that.
And I'll say this too, man. Like, somebody's gonna hear this, and they're going to say everything that I'm saying is bullshit. You know what I mean? But look at that last podcast and everything that was said there, and then look at how everything played out, and you tell me who's lying.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So crazy.
You know what I mean? And it's tough, man. But in a weird way, I'm glad that you guys had that interview, and I'm glad that like I was not a part of it.
Man, I'm sorry we didn't wait for you, dude. I know you were on the way, and then we're like,
I was outside.
He was outside, bro. I'm so sorry, man.
No, it actually worked out in the better that I wasn't. You know what I mean? In the grand scheme of things. And that's what I will say, kind of in the grand scheme of things. I know we talked about a lot of things here when it comes to that. When I stand kind of back and look at it, I'm like, maybe this happened because my wife was pregnant with twins at that time. She had just lost her dad at 8 months pregnant. Could I really leave for 2 months and just be like, here, stay with these twins, and I'm gonna go on the road, and it don't matter if you're making good money or not. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's a hard pill to swallow. So like when I kind of stand back and look at it, I'm like, maybe something was looking out for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's cool to look
but
at
just
it
like
that.
how it went down, but shit happens for a reason, whether it's good or bad,
it absolutely does. And I'll say this: I hope that record sees the light of day. Before we leave, I'll probably show you guys a couple tracks from it.
Man, I'm glad that there was actually music there. Because in my mind I was like, is there even any music?
Yeah,
that was my thought too. So
and there's a whole record there that's just man, it's that's what kind of twists my gears a little more than anything. Is like I wrote some of those songs like in like the worst moments of my life, losing my dad, losing my father,
which was Beast Inside is pretty much what you had talked about, and that's why it fucking hits so much because
exactly, you know what I mean. And
I went through some of that
seeing that those songs are never gonna be even played again. God, such a bitter thing. But you know what, man, in that situation, ego and a lot of the things that went on before I was even there prevailed over what we were building. And it's sad for the guys that are still there, but
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Shout out to the guys in Facebook: Eric Pena, Mac Cantu, John Biggie Vasquez.
Oh man, Biggie! Let me tell you something about John Biggie Vasquez right there. That guy right there is the first vato that ever showed me how to make $1 doing this business.
Hey, wow!
He used to be in a band called Seed, and when Shattered Song was just coming up, man, we would go and play shows, and I would kind of watch them. I'm like, damn, they're selling merch. Yo, and they're selling hot dogs and Cokes, and they're charging at the door. And I remember I went up to him one time. I was like, man, I do this. He's like, yo, man, I'm trying to make $1.
Trying to make some money, bro.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, dude. I was like, fuck yeah. So
a pair of Jordans comes.
Yeah. Shit. So I got a lot of love for him, man, because John, Biggie fucking helped me out through those very, very early years. A lot of these guys here, Jose, man, is been with us from the very, very beginning, man. Eric Pena, I went to school with him, man. Mac Cantu's got a great band. They're doing things. He's always been supporting me. So, shout out to all you guys, man. I appreciate y'all very, very much.
All the drunk people lined up.
Seed, yeah.
Yeah. Seed.
Yeah.
Also too, like bringing up, you got to see Lions at the Gate, and you got to meet up with Christian.
Yeah. So those guys were the first ones to really reach out to me when everything went down, and not in the sense of like I told you so, but it was kind of like, hey, bro, we were never your enemy.
Oh.
Like, you know, and there was so much of that. You know what I mean? Like this Vato is my fucking enemy. Like, he is my competition. And like, if that was the case, you know what I mean, they would have never came to me like that. You know what I mean? They would have never. They were some of the first ones to reach out to me. You know what I mean? And I got a lot of love for those guys. You know, Aru, you know, wrote some of the most important records of my youth. So to like look at those guys and view them as, man, let me give y'all a little bit of tea real quick. So the last performance that I did with El Nino was in Columbus, Ohio at Incarceration Fest. And it just so happened that it fell that Lions at the Gates were playing on the same day as El Nino.
Yeah.
So that day, everybody was drinking. You know, everybody was gassed up, looking for somebody to say something, you know what I mean? And it was more of the new guys than it was the OGs, because we'd kind of been trained that way. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, man, first motherfucker that even looks at me, it's on sight. You know what I mean? And I remember through the day, we were kind of like barking and talking shit and whatever. And I remember Michelle, you know, my wife, was just kind of like, you know, they're not really engaging in this. What's going on here? Are we the fucking bullies?
Ooh.
Like, are we the fucking assholes that are fucking being like dicks? You know what I mean? And I remember leaving there and I was like, something's not adding up here. and then everything goes down, and you know, like, they were one of the first ones to reach out to me and befriend me, even after all the shit that, you know, I said and all the shit that was talked from the camp. Like, they were very, very nice to me and very accepting of me. And I love those dudes, man. They're great. Christian is still one of my idols. I look up to him not only as a musician, but as a father. You know what I mean? And I think very much what they did with Lions at the Gates is what I'm doing with Swim the Current. You know what I mean? Everybody told them, you ain't shit without them. You ain't shit without this thing that you built. And they were like, no, fuck you. I'm going to go show you. And they built something, you know what I mean, with it. And then, you know, I'm looking at what we're doing, and it kind of finally clicked. I was like, I'm going to build this. You know what I mean? And so much love and respect for those guys, man. They're veterans in this industry. Got a lot of love for them.
Yeah, no, I still haven't seen them yet, man. I've been missing them even in Austin too. I missed them in Austin. I was like, fuck, I need.
They're gonna be here with Death Angel here at the House of Rock.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Let's see if I can come and do a little crawfish boil or some fajitas for those guys or something, man. But good dudes, man. And I guess the last thing I'll kind of say on that whole situation is there's one main culprit in what happened with those guys and what happened with me and our situation. And there's one guy that's kind of at the center of all of it. And I think everybody knows who that is. And I think the fact that me and Miggy and Sal aren't friends, me and Jess aren't friends, like, me and my ex-manager, I'll never speak to her again. You know what I mean? It's there's a culprit in the middle of that, and you know, it is what it is.
Right on, man. Let's look ahead to what's coming next before we wrap up. So what's the next big goal you want to accomplish musically?
Man, release of the Swim the Current record. We have some tour offers that are on the table. That I'm really looking forward to. Again, man, jumping into a different genre. Yeah. It's a little scary, man, but
crazy.
I'm excited about it, bro.
I think it'll work out, man. It's gonna expand your fans, and it's gonna expand to other fans. Oh yeah. Different genres too. Like, and it's gonna lead to something else. Man. Yeah, it's always good to have experience in different styles.
Even with Shattered Sun, you know, Rob works for Coetzel, you know, as the lead guitar tech. Jesse plays for Pecos and the Rooftops. Joseph, you know what I mean, works for Testament and works for those bands selling merch. And so none of these guys really got away from music. So you know what I mean? Like, everybody's still kind of in that country game, like in a way. So for me to kind of take the dive in there with this new band, I think it's gonna be pretty special, bro.
Yeah, man. And you got a fucking army behind you, man. So,
oh yeah, man. I'm very thankful for very thankful for all the people in Alice and all the people in Corpus, all here in the surrounding areas. I had a buddy. I have my 20-year anniversary or 20-year reunion, high school coming up, and I had a buddy that I ran into not long ago. He's like, "Man, why the fuck do you still live in Alice?" and I'm like, "Bro, like I've seen some crazy places in this world. I've played in front of some massive audiences. I've been all over the world. Sometimes Alice is just kind of like it's my home. You know what I mean? Like it's hard. It's hard to leave there. You know, I want my kids to be raised there. I get enough of the big city while I'm out on the road. You know what I mean? Sometimes Alice is kind of just keeps me grounded.
Yeah, you gotta have something small, man.
What's the most Alice, Texas thing about you that never changed?
All my buddies say I'm gonna be the mayor of Alice one day. You know, I'll go into HEB and take pictures and shake hands, and you know, I'm just there for some Pampers and some milk, dog. You know what I mean? But you know, I love Alice, man. That's a very special part of me, and I think that's something I hear a lot of these young guys say is, and I heard it too coming up. You can't be in Alice, you can't be in Corpus if you want to make it, man. You got to go here, you got to go there. Bullshit. You know what I mean? Because I'm living proof that you could be from Alice as long as you got the heart, dedication, and the drive. You're gonna go places.
Man, what's a personal challenge that shaped you most this past year?
Getting out of all of this stuff that we talked about, and you know, I don't want it to look like, you know, man, I'm still bitter. Am I bitter about, you know, friendships that I've lost in that situation? Yeah, you know what I mean. I love Miggy, I love Sal. You know what I mean. I hate that things played out that way, but I will not let it, you know, consume me to where it's like I can't be a good bandmate. I can't take on these next challenges with these next bands or with Swim the Current. And I can't be a great father and a great husband. You know what I mean?
You know, man, it makes me think about your relationship with your brothers in Shattered Son. Even like before all this happened, you know what I mean? I wonder what their feelings were.
I
you
think,
know what I'm saying?
I think at that time, when I first got in El Nino, I think it maybe felt like I was kind of abandoning ship. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people looked at it that way. I never did, but I mean, I understand why it was that way. But when the ship abandoned me, you know what I mean? Those were the first guys there.
Wow.
Those were the first vatos there.
Jeff De Leon on YouTube. What's up, Marcos and Nick?
What's up?
Jeff.
Joe.
Oh, Joe, my guitar player right there.
How do you say his last name?
Guerreri. Yeah.
Guerreri?
He is he's the most Italian guy I know.
You gotta try some of that pizza out there, bro.
Oh yeah. You know what? Hey, they turned me on to the last time I went to New York, bro. The first thing I said when I got off the plane, I was like, "You better take me to a Jewish deli." Right.
Oh,
yeah, yeah, but it's the same way because you know they're gonna come down here in Texas. I'm like,
it was a barbecue.
I gotta take it to Terry Black, brisket, bro. Baby. I gotta cook you some fajitas. You know what I mean? So man, I remember the hot dogs and all the drunk people lined up. Yeah, I know. And they did that at the KC Hall in Alice, and I was like, why the fuck didn't I think of that, man? These drunk people paying $5 for a hot dog, dude.
Hey, that's when they spend the most, bro.
Hell yeah, dude. I loved it, man. Shout out Biggie, man. He's the one who showed me that. But yeah, man, I'm excited for Swim the Current coming to Corpus Christi, January 31st, House of Rock. Would love for you guys to come out, man. And
shit, I hope to have him in town too, man.
So, you better check that work schedule.
There's no telling, dog, but
I
definitely want to be. Okay, it's on a Saturday, and that's.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for that.
I'm gonna be sick that day.
Little pinch of Cowboys.
Oh yeah, 1 minute, yo. I'm ready for my Cowboys. I love Juan to death, man. All these guys, man, that are here in the comments, dude. It just I need to put that in my schedule. Yeah, you do. I love all these guys, man. They've done so much for me.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So last thing, what do you want your legacy to be as a South Texas artist?
You know, I hate to say it this way, but like I feel like I kind of already accomplished it. Like when I first started out, I wanted to make a song, and I remember my dad would tell me this. He goes, "Doesn't matter how much money you make. Doesn't matter how much." If you do rock star shit, if you fly in a plane, if you ride in a bus, am I gonna remember one of your songs? You know what I mean? And my dad started listing off bands, you know what I mean, that he would listen to. And 10 years down the road, when I hear people say, man, are you gonna play Burning Regrets? Are you gonna, like, the deep cuts on the route? We have a song called 281, you know what I mean, that I wrote about, driving home, and the last road we would always hit was 281.
Wow.
And to have people, come and say, man, dude, 281 got me home, 281 did, you know what I mean? Like to have that, man, if I died tomorrow, I think my legacy is kind of already built. I helped the people around me. I helped my friends. I helped other bands, and I was able to make some great music while I was here, man.
It's nice, bro. Man, was there anything you guys would like to share, Nick or Marcos?
Shit, man. No, just congrats to you and the boys in Shatter, man. 10 years.
Thank you, man.
The album still holds up, dude.
Oh yeah, and I listened to it. I listened to it. I've been listening to it the past 2 weeks, man. And I'm just like, fuck, man. A 27-year-old Marcus was a crazy motherfucker, dude.
Yeah. Everything pops up, man. Like, I have my homeboy Mike Gomez and Gregory Portland, man. Every time it's either me or him. Fucking Testament song.
Oh, Return to Serenity.
Return to Serenity. But anytime that song pops up, we're always recording it and sending each other, because we both dig it.
And shout out to Rex and the guys at C101 who that kind of still keep our legacy alive. Like, even obviously they're pumping the show, right now, but Rex plays that shit all the time, and we laughed the other day because he was like, I had to ditch a couple of Tommy Vex songs to put on some Shattered Sun, and I was like, what, Rex, that's why I love you, dog. That's why fucking legend, bro. But
there's just bangers on that album, man. The single.
It was
Dead Set, fucking Wage War.
It was a product of us being at the end of the rope. And Robert Beltran being like, nah, fuck that.
The kick in the ass.
Yeah, he was absolutely the kick in the ass, man. Yeah. So, to be celebrating that this Friday, freaking if you need somewhere to go.
We'll promote the show. Look at the camera
right here. This Friday, you need somewhere to go. I know everybody gets tired of, Thanksgiving, especially if the Cowboys lose. Be like, what the fuck am I going to do? Come to Brewster Street. Come celebrate with us, man. We're going to have a packed house. It's going to be great, man.
They're going to have the Longhorn game playing as well, so you guys want to watch that game while you're watching the show.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to see if I can bug them about playing the Eagles game. Just kind of like a recap, just for all my Eagles fans, in case they forgot.
Eagles cry.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for everybody in the comment section, man. Marcos, thank you for your honesty and giving the fans the clarity they've been waiting for.
Thank you.
Big thank you to our guest co-host, Nick Lopez, for bringing us full circle moment back from our very first interview with both of you guys. Again, episode sponsored by Premier Hearing Solutions of South Texas. Check out CorpusChristiOriginals.com. Help support the podcast. It's been the Corpus Christi Originals podcast. See you next episode.